Okay, so now that song really is catchy. It's very old. As you can see, it had like the Macarena in it, and you can tell it's probably made, I don't know, 25, 30 years ago, but it still has the same four basic principles, and it still sticks in your head. I can promise you tomorrow you'll still be hearing that in your head. So you will never forget price, product, place, promotion. Okay, so what we're going to do today, we're going to go over most of chapter 1, and then I'm going to assign you to your groups that you're going to do your 2 projects with. And then once I send that assignment out, I'm going to send y'all into breakout rooms and give you the time to work on. Well, first off, you're going to tell me what social media that you want to use, and then you're going to email it to me. And you want to do that as fast as possible because it's a first come, first serve. It's going to go by the time that it comes into me once you go into your groups and y'all decide. Then I'm going to give you about 30 minutes to work on it, to exchange information. Your introductory forms to your group aren't due until Sunday, so I won't be sending those out until those come in. But if you have them ready, you can give them to your group early if you want. But for sure, you need to let your group know your at least your email and a phone number so that y'all can figure out when y'all are going to get together. But I will give you time in class today to get organized with it. And once right before I send y'all out to the groups, I'll tell you what I'm expecting for the project, and then that'll help y'all get organized into who's going to do what. But the first thing we're going to do is look at chapter 1, and maybe some of you've had a chance to read it or scan it. But I want to give you some extra information, not just reading from the slides. So let me share my screen. Something really caught in my throat. All righty. Okay. We're looking at the meaning of marketing. This is from your textbook. Oh, you know what? I'm going to stop sharing for a minute because I need y'all to do something for me. Hang on one second because the bookstore asked me to have y'all do this. I need you to, somebody in the class, I sent y'all an email today telling you that all you had to do was go on to Canvas and to your textbook hub and click on the one that said navigate, or the one for this class. And someone told me that there's nothing there when you click on it. Has anybody tried it today yet?
Yes.
Was there anything there?
There's nothing. No, it says reveal access code and then it's blank.
Okay. What they wanted me to do is if you could do that now or after class or sometime and take a picture of it, either do a screenshot or take a picture with your phone and email it to me. That'd be great because I'm going to then email it to them and they're going to go after the publisher so we can get that up and running. So Jasenia, if you could, since you've done it and you know how to do it, if you could take a picture of it for me and get it to me by tomorrow morning by email, that'd be great. Okay? Jasenia?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. Yes, I'll get it to you by tonight.
Okay, super. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so now we'll go back to the share screen because I almost forgot to do that. They sent me a message and they were insisting it was there, and I told them the students were telling me it wasn't. Okay. All righty. So marketing has changed many times over the past, 100 and some odd years. But there are different ways. There's market-driven marketing and there's non-driven. And the non-market-driven is often not as successful, because what they're basically doing is the business is deciding what the client needs or wants, as opposed to being market-driven, where they go out and they see what is it the client's looking for, what do they need, what are they willing to buy. When you're non-market driven, an example of that would be that you have, let's say that there's a very fancy doctor at your hospital, and he's really famous throughout the world. You don't want to lose him, so he kind of gets whatever he wants. So he's saying he wants a new cardiac care unit, let's say. And so y'all go out, you get funding, you build this extraordinary cardiac care unit with the greatest and the latest of everything. But nobody comes. Well, what happened is that even though he wanted it and y'all gave him what he wanted, there was no market analysis done. Maybe there was a hospital down the road, less than a mile away, that has an incredible cardiac care unit and has been doing it for 20 years. You know, and they've built up a reputation, and a lot of the doctors refer to them, and people, you know, see no reason to move over, to change. So you spend a bunch of money, and the book actually talks about some hospitals that did that, and it ended up being almost like a ghost ward because there was no one that ever came. So they turned it in, they changed in the end and turned it into something else, like a maternity wing or something. But you really have to look at what the market will support. If the market can't support two cardiac care units, then you're spinning your wheels and wasting a lot of money. So when you're deciding, you know, what you're going to do, you need to look at market driven, not just non-market driven. Okay, then we're going to look at the difference between needs and wants. We're going to understand the things that affect marketing strategy. All of this is covered in this chapter. So let me mark Albert. He just came in, so I don't leave him absent. Okay, so we're going to go on. One of the things, I'm going to back up for just 1 second. One of the things about marketing is that it's only hospitals and healthcare agencies only started marketing maybe 40 years ago. And what brought about the change was that for many, many years, doctors would choose what hospitals that they wanted to use. And so, and then anybody that was their patient had to go to that hospital. And it wouldn't matter if it was, you know, 100 miles away. That would still be the hospital they had to go to if they wanted to use that doctor. So that being the case, hospitals were not marketing to the client or the patient, they were marketing to the doctors. And part of that was that the American Medical Association said that being a doctor, being a lawyer, those are learned professions, meaning that it's really in poor taste to advertise. So up until about 40 years ago, they didn't advertise, you know. You just didn't do it. You never saw billboards with lawyers' pictures on them or doctors' pictures on them. You didn't, you know, they weren't flyers, they weren't ads. Everybody, it was on the premise that if you did a good job, people would find you. Then there was a real shift, and insurance companies started saying, listen, you know, y'all can't dictate to the patient where they're going to go. They should have a choice. So insurance companies started reimbursing patients as opposed to paying direct to hospitals and saying you won't get the care unless you go to this hospital or whatever it happened to be. So this shift caused a big change in how marketing was going on, because now hospitals, they have to market because they have to let you know they're there because the patient is making the decisions. So it was a really big shift. About 40 years ago, 40 to 45 years ago, the first marketing person was hired in a hospital in Illinois. And they were, you know, way above the curve. They were saying, you know, this is the way of the future. So we need to jump in with both feet and get someone that is a marketing person and so that we can get our name out there first. And that started the ball rolling. So I'm working off two computers here, so I don't miss anything. I'm checking my notes. Um, when you're looking at the meaning of marketing, it's basically planning and executing, pricing, promotion, and distribution. And the process of planning and executing the concept, the pricing, the promotion, distribution of ideas, goods, and services to create exchanges to satisfy the individual and the organizational objectives. And that's from the American Marketing Association. So you're looking at what the focus is, and the focus is the patient, the physician, and the organization. And like in everything else, customer satisfaction is the key to everything, regardless, because if you don't have customer satisfaction, they will not come. And you know, the thing about today's world is that years ago, you know, if you went to complain about somebody, it was, you know, you'd have a horrible experience at the, let's say in the emergency room. You'd have to go home afterwards, and then you would, you know, say, I'm gonna have to write a letter, you know, and I'm gonna, you know, tell them what a horrible experience it was, or, you know, make a phone call or whatever it happens to be. But by the time you got home, more than likely you've calmed down, you didn't do it. But in today's world, you walk out of that emergency room, you pick up your phone, and you're immediately on Yelp, you know, on Facebook, whatever it happens to be, talking about them, because while you're still angry. So feedback is immediate, which it used to not be. Used to, you'd have to, you know, wait usually a couple of hours, and then by that time you're kind of not angry anymore, unless they really hacked you off. Another thing is, if you notice, just as an aside, used to 18-wheelers on the back of them, they said, how am I driving? And then they had a big phone number you could call. And if you know, if you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, well, most people didn't have cell phones back then. So, you know, maybe the 18-wheeler cut them off or whatever it was. But by the time they got home, they'd forgot about it. But in today's world, boy, you pick that phone up and you are calling them on the spot. So feedback is immediate. So we really have to be more careful in how we treat customers and clients. Now, another thing, like I was saying, is that before, you didn't see advertisements. But in today's world, you know, the first time I saw a doctor in the doctor's, you know, scrubs and sitting with a bunch of people around him on a billboard, I was shocked, because I thought I had never seen a doctor advertise. I'm thinking to myself, what's wrong with him that he has to advertise? But, you know, that's the way it is now. But I'm from the old school when people just didn't do that. And when I started seeing all these signs all over the place, I immediately thought, why do they have to advertise? So, you know, the world's changing, though. So if you want to have people know who you are and where you are and what you stand for, you're going to have to advertise. Now, who does the marketing? Well, traditionally, commercial businesses known as traditional businesses till the late 1900s were the people who did the marketing for you. They had companies that did it. You hired people to do it for you. If anybody ever watched the show Bewitched, Darren, her husband, you know, worked in advertisement. Big companies, you know, you hired them to do it because the average person, you know, didn't have the ability or the knowledge on how to do it. In today's world, anybody can do it, you know, because you've got social media that is a tremendous advertising leverage. You have, you know, you can do a lot of printing and all kinds of stuff at the company level. So not as many people, unless you've got a real issue, use marketing companies anymore. And more than likely, as a young person going into a healthcare facility or some, you know, a hospital or whatever it happens to be, you may get asked to do some of the social media stuff, because there's this thought in everyone's head that if you're young, you know all about that stuff. You know all about social media and about TikTok and Facebook and YouTube, whereas people from old school don't tend to know as much. So you more than likely will be given some tasks that involve social media. Okay. Now, this is a little song y'all just heard a while ago. Price, product, place, promotion. You know, we think about, when you think about a hospital, you think, well, we don't have a product, but you do in fact have a product. The product is the service that you provide. You know, your product can be whatever you're providing to the public. It can be, you know, the emergency room. It can be HMOs. It can be any kind of service that you're providing. That's the product that you're going to be marketing. When we think about price, you have to, you know, a lot of times people, if anybody's ever watched Shark Tank, I can't imagine anybody, you know, in today's world that hasn't seen Shark Tank at least once. And they always say to them, you know, how much is your customer acquisition? How much money did you already borrow? How much have you put into the company? All those things. And sometimes people have put like millions of dollars into a company and haven't sold the first thing yet. And so what happens is you think you have this wonderful product or service, and you think, you know, that people are going to be willing to pay for it no matter what. But that's just simply not the case. You need to not try to recoup all the money you spent when you're selling the product, because people just will not purchase it if you're way out in outer space with the price that you're asking for your product. So you have to do some market analyzing, and you have to figure out, is this something that people want and need, and what are they willing to pay for it? I've seen stuff before and I think, well, that's really neat. And then I'll see the price tag and I'll say, well, it's not that neat. You know, I don't want it that bad. And I'm sure you've all had the same situation where a gadget or a widget or something, and you think, well, that is really neat. And then you see that it's like about 3 times as much as you're willing to pay. You're not going to buy it, especially in today's economy. So you need to be careful when you price, that you don't price yourself out of the market. So, you know, that's you need to see what people are willing to pay for it. Okay, then your place is, how are you going to deliver the service, or where are you going to deliver it? It can be, you know, there's all kinds of different delivery methods now that maybe we didn't used to have. You know, are you going to have a brick and mortar building? Are you going to do it through the web? Like, I think, what's it called? Call a doc or doc something or another. You know, how are you going, what kind of place are you going to deliver your product at? Where are you going to distribute it? And then how are you going to promote it? What are you going to do to promote it? So that's the 4, if you can remember those 4 P's, then you've got a handle on the basic pieces of marketing. Okay, let's look at this for a minute. You know, there's a big difference between needs and wants. Can somebody tell me in healthcare, and I can't see you, so you're going to have to just kind of holler out, but can somebody tell me what a need is in healthcare? Come on. What's a need?
Hi, this is Arme. Maybe like health insurance is a need for healthcare.
Absolutely. That's a good one. It is absolutely a need. And even if you think you don't need it, you're going to have to get it because Uncle Sam's going to make you get it. So it's definitely a need in today's world. Other needs might be surgeries, you know, that where, you know, you've got, you know, a hernia or, you know, some sort of tumor or whatever. The need is that, you know, you have to have that surgery. Now, there are also lots of wants in healthcare. Can anyone tell me what a want would be in healthcare?
Yeah, this is Jazeel, and it could definitely be a cheaper deductible or cost just in general for insurance rates.
Absolutely. That's absolutely one of the things.
Another,
I'm sorry.
it's Melina. I feel like dental is something everyone wants, but damn, healthcare doesn't give it.
You're right. It's very difficult to get healthcare insurance. And people will put that off and on the back burner, which is why you see a lot of toothless people around. But they will put that off on the back burner because they don't feel like it's a matter of life and death. What else? What about Botox? Do you think that it's a need to have your lips puffed up?
That's
I
definitely
agree
a
that,
want.
I agree. I think any cosmetic type of procedure is definitely a want, not necessarily.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, unless you've had, you know, some like been burned badly, or you know, or have, you know, some deformity that you were born with, or something along those lines, you're right. It is definitely a want. Does insurance typically pay for wants? Anybody?
No.
No, that's right. You know, some people get Botox for migraine headaches and stuff, and insurance may pay for that. But if you just want to puff up your lips or lift up your behind, more than likely the insurance is going to not pay for that. So there's a big difference when you're marketing in healthcare on whether it's a need or a want. The majority of you will be working in places where people need the services that you provide. Now, if you were working at a high-end plastic surgery facility, then you would see a certain percent would come in that have to have like reconstructive surgery, or some of those things that are definitely needs instead of wants. But a very high percent will be, you know, things that people want to have done. They want to have their, you know, face lifted, or, you know, well, every kind of, I mean, I have never seen so many people that have think of the things they can do, you know, to pay for, you know, to make their behind rounder, or to make their lips bigger, or to make, you know, whatever it happens to be, there's a plastic surgeon that will probably do it. When I first moved to California from Texas, I was shocked at so many people, you know, that, I mean, people that I look at and I think, you know, I wouldn't ever think that they'd be going to plastic surgery. But I think because Southern California in particular, you know, is so immersed in the Hollywood mentality, that you just see a lot more plastic surgery here than we do in Texas. We have plastic surgeons in Texas, but, you know, I bet I didn't know 3 people in my whole life that had had like a facelift. And so, you know, it's really different from, the culture is different from state to state, and what people are willing to pay for and what they're not willing to pay for. So you really, when you're dealing with healthcare, you really need to think about what is a need and how would you market a need, and what is a want and how would you market that. Really got something caught in my throat. Excuse me. So, all right, so meeting medical needs must be a primary concern. Wants don't have to be ignored or cannot be ignored, but needs must be a primary concern, because typically they could be life or death. Okay, the computer keeps going haywire on me here. All right, who's the customer? We're going to talk a lot about your target group. And it's very important, you know, that you know who your target market is, because if you're marketing to the wrong group, you're wasting money and spinning your wheels. So, so you need to figure out who is your target market. Now, let me give you an example of that. If you're opening up a gynecology office and you're going to specialize in high-risk pregnancies, then, you know, where do you think your target, who do you think your target market would be if you're specializing in high-risk pregnancy? Anybody? Nobody? Melina?
Women.
Women, absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely women. And would it be, do you think that you would be targeting maybe a 21-year-old healthy woman?
No, probably women who are a little older who are considered to be high risk.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So you would be targeting typically in that situation, let's say high risk women that are wanting, in vitro, those kind of things. Typically, they're going to be over 35, typically. Not always, but typically. And, they're probably going to have a little bit higher income if they're looking at in vitro or, looking at trying to, get pregnant later in life. Maybe they've had a successful career and now they're ready to have kids, whatever it happens to be. So your target group would probably not be college kids. Now, if you were just opening up a gynecological clinic, then yeah, it would be anybody, any women 18 and over, would be a great target group. But if you're looking specifically for high risk pregnancy, then, you're going to be targeting a little bit different group. So you're going to have to figure out where that group is at and what it would take to get their attention. You also wouldn't want to waste your money in a nursing home, I would hope, or someone, like 55 and over. Now, my 417 class always reads, I have them read an article about a lady in India who was 70 years old and had her first baby. And, so as they revisit that and say, was it ethical for these doctors to use in vitro fertilization on someone that was 70 years old? And who is going to, raise the child? Because I think the husband was a lot older than her. Why did they think that was an ethical thing to do? And we discussed that some in that class occasionally. So, but what you're looking for when you're looking for your target group is where are the bulk? I don't know if any of you remember your statistics, but in statistics, you have a chart, and then the center of that chart shows you where the majority reside, and the ones that are outside that majority, like the 70-year-old lady, that would be a little dot, a little blip up at the chart, at the top of the chart all by itself. What you want to do is hit that center. You want to get as much bang for your buck as you possibly can. So you need to know who is your customer. Okay. Come on. Okay, this comes straight from the book, but this is what I was talking about, the non-market driven. This would be when someone decides that they think the hospital should they think the hospital should decide what they're going to do based on somebody within the system. Or that has to do with the mission and goals of the hospital. So they decide what they need. They don't search the market. They just decide what they think they need. Then they just develop a strategy for it. They implement it, and then they market it. Well, a lot of times by the time they get to the marketing and they've just spent all this money, they figured out there's no need for it. So it's not always, it is used sometimes, but you need to use a combination because sometimes you just spend a lot of money with no reward. Okay, now here we go. We're looking at the production era, the sales era, the marketing era, and the marketing culture. Let's talk about the production era. Many, many years ago, like late 1800s, early 1900s, that was the production era. That's when people, everything was literally made within a few miles of wherever you lived. Like someone would build a furniture for you. That one person built that furniture, and then probably within a few miles of your house, because you had to get that furniture from where they're at to your house. And, there were no vehicles. And even if there were vehicles, there were no roads that they could drive on. And so that was really, the marketing was just very, very close in. Very little marketing to none. It was word of mouth. Oh God, this guy really does a great job building rocking chairs, or this guy does, this little mill does a great job with cotton. And it wasn't until late 1800s, early 1900s that we started kind of branching out, because guess what happened? Henry Ford came along, and Henry Ford got this, and some others before him started building vehicles that did not have to be pulled by horses, and so they could go further. You could make more, you could go further in a day instead of going 8 hours and getting, 8 miles. You could go, 30 miles in a day, or whatever it happened to be. Well, along with these vehicles that were being built, and, little trucks came along with that too. So you were able to haul stuff, but you had to have roads, because when they first came out, the roads were just the ones that the horse and buggies went on. And those were not paved. They were rocky or sandy or, whatever they happened to be, but they certainly weren't for mass transportation. So the infrastructure started building vehicles. They started building roads for those vehicles to travel on. And when that happened, that's when they started the beginning of salesmen and the beginning of branching out and selling your product at other places, not just within, a 5-mile radius of where you live. So all of that starts progressing, from the production era to the sales era. And production, along about I don't remember the exact date, 1915, 1920, somewhere around in there, Henry Ford, and I love Fords. Y'all are going to hear me talk about Fords all the time because I love my Ford truck. But Henry Ford came up with the first assembly line. And when that happened, that meant that no longer did one person build your whole car. He did it where one person would, like one group of people might put the chassis together. Another group might put the engine together. Another group might paint it. But it was a whole group of people, and the vehicle just went down that assembly line. And when it got to the end, then, it was finished. But no one person was instrumental in seeing it from the beginning to the end. So that's when things began to not be quite as perfect, because your name wasn't attached to it. People aren't typically as careful if their name's not attached to it. But what it did enable them to do was churn those things out. So they could put out, I don't know how many, many cars a day. So guess what? They got to sell them cheaper. So they became available to the common person, not just people who had a lot of money to waste. So with that, with the advent of the assembly lines, with the advent of better roads and stuff, then we began to have more availability for other products as well. And so marketing began to get more important. Salesmen would travel around. It went from being, pulling a wagon that had a bunch of pots and pans and aprons and all kinds of things in it and came around once a month, to people who came regularly in vehicles. And they either had their stuff with them or they had samples. So, excuse me, just. So now we've gone through the production era, we've gone through the sales era, now we've got the marketing era. Now this is when healthcare got involved in this, like I was telling you, in the 70s, when the hospital in Evanston, Illinois, hired the first marketing person in a healthcare facility. So as we're going through and looking at this history, you see how it evolved into what we have today. It went through a whole lot of different changes and got to where we're at today. All right, for some reason, it's not wanting to go. There we go. Okay. Marketing culture, involves a lot of things. With long term, that's when you adopt a perspective that includes a continuous search for ways to add value and make appropriate business investments so that you have money for marketing your product. Then the inertial is diffused through all levels of the organization It's no longer only marketing, but everyone from desk clerks to maintenance staff take part in it. This is when you're involving everybody in the marketing. And if you get buy-in by everybody in the company, you're going to be more successful. If there's only a few people trying to push it and you don't have buy-in, then you're going to have breakdowns along the way. So everybody, all the stakeholders need to buy in to the culture. You need to be profitable. Otherwise, you know, if you're not profitable, you can't afford to have marketing or advertising. So all these orientation is all part of that. Competitor oriented. You have to look at the landscape around you. What are your competitors doing, and can you do it better? And if you can't do it better because they really have it down to a fine art, then you find something they're not doing and you hang your hat on that and you become the best at that. So you need to look at what the competition is. You can't compete. Like there's a orthopedic surgeon a group. It's over there somewhere, Santa Monica, but they do all of the basketball players, all the football players. You know, I mean, you just, if someone came in and tried to compete with them, it would be really tough. So you look at that and you think, okay, they've got this market cornered. So what can I do that I can be the very best at? So you have to look at your competitors, and you have to figure out what you can do that that better than them, or start a whole new thing, and always be customer focused. Okay, I'm going to stop for just a second, and I'll be right back. I got a slight little emergency here, so hang on just 1 minute. Okay, so we're gonna move on down here. I already talked to you a little bit about the non-market driven, where you do it within the company and you think you know what's best for the customer, and maybe you don't. Sometimes it works, sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes it's just what your goals are and that you have to meet them, and the hospital board is telling you to meet them, and you know, whatever it happens to be. But you should always put some kind of market-driven mix in there with it. You're going to hear about stakeholders throughout this semester. And stakeholders are anybody that has a stake in your business. And it can be anybody from the doctors to the nurses to the janitorial staff. Anybody that has a stake in your business is a stakeholder. The secondary stakeholders provide the infrastructure, but they don't necessarily engage in all the transactions in the company. This could be media, non-governmental agencies, trade, among those things. Your primary stakeholders, they have continuous interaction within the company. Doctors, nurses, patients, the people who are constantly part of what's going on an everyday basis. Okay, these come from directly from the book, talking about defining stakeholders basically, and what all the how they have a part in the overall picture. Okay, now it's almost 8 o'clock. So here's what I'm going to stop here, because I want to give y'all time to work on your group activity. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to upload to the chat your groups. And then once you get your groups, you're going to self-assign to the breakout room. I'm going to open the breakout rooms, and you're going to assign yourself to the group number That's the breakout room you're going to be in. Then once you get in that breakout room, your group is going to decide what social media y'all want to use. You know, whether you want Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat, any of them that are used in healthcare. And what you're going to do, the end product, the deliverables for this project when y'all do it is the group is going to put together a one-page handout that is going to have in it a little history about the organization, who started it, where it started, is there a cost to use it for a business, some examples of how it's used in healthcare, and you can find some real life examples. I like lots of glitz and glitter. I like you to think outside the box. I love that. Then you're going to have a step-by-step directions on how you get to the site, how you create your account, how you open it, and how you use it. So if someone that never heard of Twitter before could look at your handout and look in there and say 1 through 5 or whatever it is, and by the time they got through reading your handout, they could open a Twitter account and start using it, or whatever it happens to be. So the one-page handout will have directions on how to use it. It will have a short history of it. It will have some examples of how it's used in healthcare, and anything else you can think of that you could put on there that would interest somebody in knowing about that particular software. You have to have at least 3 references, and they have to be cited inside that page as well as in a reference list on that page. And the references could be something like where you got the history of it, or where you got the steps from, or you know, like where you got the examples from, and you only need 3. Now, that's part of the assignment, and that page is going to be uploaded by one person in the group leader, and it will be uploaded to the discussion board, and it will also be uploaded to the assignment page. So it goes up to Canvas twice. The other deliverable is that you have to have a PowerPoint that discusses that handout. Now, that's what you're going to use when you present it to the class. And each group will be presenting their handout to the class. And it can have information in there that's not necessarily on the handout. You can add fluff to that one. But the PowerPoint gets uploaded only to the assignment page in Canvas. And one person out of the group does it. Everybody has to participate. Everybody has to say a little something. It's going to be a 4 to 6 minute time limit for y'all to talk about your particular social media. The last part of the assignment is that once everything's uploaded to the discussion board, everybody, not just a group leader, everybody has to comment on the other groups, not your own, but you have to have one comment on each of the other groups. And that's the whole assignment. And the comments could be like something you learned new from their presentation. It could be something that you thought was interesting. It could be something, you know, that you could tell them they could think about to maybe add to it. Those kind of things. That's where the comments come from. You do not need references for your comments. You just need to think about it and comment on each of the activities. Okay, are we good on what the deliverables are? So now you have an idea. I'm going to shoot you off into your rooms, and I'll be popping in to see if y'all have any questions. And right now I'm about to put the list on here. You'll find your name on the list, and you'll then go to the breakout room. And after I send the list up, I'll set the breakout rooms up. If you're in group 1, then you're going to breakout room 1. That's how it works. Okay, let me.
I have a question. So
Sure.
when we get in our breakout rooms and we decide what social media platform we want to use, do we email you right away?
Right away. Email me
Okay, sounds good.
as soon as you make the decision. And I need y'all to put a 1, 2, and 3 choice. Your number 1 choice, your number 2 choice, your number 3 choice. And
sounds
hopefully you'll get one of the 3.
Alrighty, thank you.
Okay? All right, super. All right. Hopefully it's going to work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so here's can everybody see that? The file I just uploaded? Yes, no? Hope so. Can y'all see it?
Yes.
Okay, super. All right. I don't remember how many people I put in there. How many? Who? Somebody that's opened it. How many groups do I have? 5 or 6?
6.
6.
6. Okay. All right.
I'm not sure why I can't open it.
Okay. Okay, let me send, I'll also send it by email.
Oh, I think I got it right
got it?
now.
Everybody got it?
Oh yeah, okay, I'm in 2. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right, super. So now now y'all need to go into your breakout rooms according to the number of your group.
Uh, Professor, I can't find it. Where is it?
Okay, let me open it and I'll tell you which group you're in. It's in the chat under, let me send it up again. Sometimes they disappear when someone's, I don't know, it disappears in the chat sometime for no good reason. Okay, I just sent it up again. So see if you can see it. If you can't, then I'll open it and tell you which one you're in.
Professor, it's not opening for me. Can you let me know what group I'm in?
I sure can. Let me get it
Thank you.
open. Give me 1 second. Let's see. That was Leon that asked, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. You're in group 4.
Thank you so much.
Who else needs to know?
I do too, Professor, please.
And what's
It's
your name?
Daniela.
I'm sorry?
Daniela Vivas.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Daniela, group 1.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Angie, how about you? Do you know where you're going? Okay.
Hi.
You just came on, right? Yeah, I saw you just
Yes.
pop in. Okay, you
Okay.
are
Oh,
in
sorry.
group, hang on, we're going to groups for our activity. You are in, where are you at here? You're in group 3. So in the breakout room, choose, breakout room 3, and, that's where you're heading.
Okay, so I just leave this one and I'll go to the breakout room. Okay, thank you.
You bet.
All right, I'll talk to you soon. Like, explain what's going on. I'm so sorry about this.
That's okay. I understand, life happens. So just send me an email on when you'd like to visit and we'll set up a time. How's that?
Yeah, that's great. I really appreciate your understanding, though. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
absolutely. I completely understand.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, looks like most everybody is back with me. We've got about a couple more seconds before they'll be forced back, if they're not back. And I'm going to shoot up the page that's got now the addition of what your group has. I've went and saw each group individually, but you'll have a record of it, and I'll also email it to you so that you'll also have that. Okay. All right, so let me get that up there. Come on, open for me. And all right. Okay, this one should have, you know, what your group was assigned. Okay, so that's really all I have for tonight. And remember, y'all need to start working on these groups because it comes really quickly. And be sure you check your calendar in the syllabus to be sure you don't miss any due dates. And as always, if you have any questions, remember, this is a stress-free zone. I don't want my students stressing because they don't understand the directions or because something doesn't make sense or whatever it happens to be. All that's fixable, because I will tell you something 25 different ways to be sure, you know, that you're understanding what I'm saying. And it has nothing to do with you. You know, it has to do with different people understand different things different ways. And I want to be sure that you understand and that you're not stressed out over this class, because I know there's a lot of things that stress y'all out in today's world, and I don't want this to be among them. We're going to learn a lot in this class and hopefully have a good time doing it. And, you know, I'm going to get to know y'all, and at the end of the semester, I won't want y'all to go. I'm always sad when my classes leave me. So, you know, so let's just be sure and talk to me. If there's anything going on, let me know what's going on, because I can't help you if I don't know. Okay, does anybody have any questions? No? All right, then I'm going to let y'all go, and I will see y'all next Tuesday. I think we have a speaker next Tuesday. But anyway, be sure you're on time, and, you know, have a great week.
Professor, I had a
Uh-huh.
quick question. Okay,
Sure.
so for this assignment, basically we have a social media app and we're gonna make a flyer on how to use it and create an account. And then the
That's right.
presentation
And
is Mhm.
and then a PowerPoint presentation that you're going to use to present your handout.
Oh, to present the handout.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what y'all are going to be talking about, is your handout. And you can add stuff in the PowerPoint presentation that doesn't fit on the handout if you want to, as long as you have the basic stuff on the handout, you know, that I just talked about, and it's also in the syllabus. But the PowerPoint presentation is going to be your guide, and you get graded on it also as part of your presentation on what each of y'all talks about.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
you bet.
Professor, I had a question about the contract. Does only one person have to turn it in, or?
Oh, no, the contract, everybody turns in, because I want to be sure everybody agrees to everything on it.
Okay, so everybody will turn in a copy.
Yeah, everybody turns in the contract, and everybody turns in the, there's a checkup along the way. I forget what I call it, but, you know, on how your group's getting along, an evaluation group. Everybody does that one also. But the handout and the PowerPoint, the stuff that gets uploaded like that's part of this group project, just one person.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Have a good night.
You too.
Hi, Dr. Martinez. I have a question unrelated to the class. It's about student forum.
Sure.
I'm actually with Jennifer right now too, from UPD.
Uh-huh.
UPD president. So tomorrow when we pick up the canopy, what room is it again?
It's in 114, but you gotta
114?
go to Andy or to Dr. Lawrence, and so what time are you gonna get there? And I'll make a call to Dr. Lawrence and be sure somebody's there to let y'all in, because I'm not in town right now.
Okay.
So do you have a time for me?
Hi, Dr. Martinez. So it's Daniela. I'll be getting to campus around 9:30-ish.
Okay,
So I believe I should be at the office around like 9:50.
okay. All right, I'm going to send Andy a message if I can't get hold of Dr. Lawrence, and be sure that somebody's there by 9:45. So go to the main office, which is 110, I think. The HHS 2, and Andy should be there. And so go there, and then if he's not there, Dr. Lawrence will be there. If I can't get hold of them, then I'll be calling Dr. early on. I'll have somebody there for you.
Okay,
It'll
sounds
also be Christina, Daniela, setting up with you. So I don't know if it's better, if you guys both go together, because we're gonna also be needing banners, right? To carry the banners in the.
Yeah, there's a UPD banner, there's a HCA banner, there is the tent. I don't think we have any flyers. I know that y'all were going to print something. I know somebody was printing something, but our flyers haven't come yet for the new ones with the new name on it. Andy
Oh.
may have a few with the old name, but I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think they've all been used. And then there's a wagon there. You can pull it all in.
Okay. I
good.
think our plan, like, to market the club would be, because we're gonna have snacks and such, so we'll have them follow both our Instagram pages, and then they could get a snack like in return. So that way they like know, they'll like, it's basically like a flyer, I guess, like a digital flyer.
Okay, super.
We don't need like a paper one. The paper ones that we are gonna have are for the logo contest.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Super.
Dr.
That'll work.
Martinez, I have
Uh-huh.
a question. Do you think that 9:45 is a little bit too early to
What
grab
time does it start?
at 11?
Check-ins at 10 for setting up.
Oh, okay, never mind.
And then
I
I
was
don't
gonna
know.
say, it depends on how long it takes y'all. You should have seen, I guess it was Dr. Lawrence and myself, and I can't remember that. We like to never got that daggum thing put up. So it just depends on how good you are at putting that thing up. So.
Yeah. Hopefully
and
it's
you
not
know,
a hassle.
If
and you
anything, there
can't,
should be some other people around like that can help you too.
and
you know.
and there's a rule that you can't stick it in the grass. You have
Uh,
to use sandbags or something. And I think I don't know exactly. I didn't know about it till somebody informed me when I was trying to stick it in the grass.
So are we supposed to
gonna
have those
ignore them.
sandbags, or you think they'll provide them for us?
I don't know. Maybe they'll let you put them up there, because it's going to be up there closer to the library, right? Where's it going to be at?
It's gonna be in the central quad, so it's like near the bookstore and the science buildings.
Maybe they'll let you put them in there, in there, but down there when we were, that area by the Outback or whatever that thing is called, that little cafe right close to our building, they just flat, they will not let you stick it in the ground there. And like I said, I thought I'd get away with it and got caught. So they provided sandbags for us at that one, but I'm not sure, if they don't have them, then we're going to have to certainly figure out a way to get some to keep there in the office for y'all. But let's hope they do have them.
Hopefully.
I think it
So-
should be fine on the ground. I don't think it should move because I doubt there's gonna be wind tomorrow. So I'm pretty sure
Right.
it's fine.
Well, I certainly don't want to get a message that 3 of my best students went sailing off in a Never Land hanging onto a tent. So, yeah, hopefully, they'll have some kind of way that y'all can do that. So
Okay.
just
Thank
ask
you so
whoever is, that y'all, when you sign in, ask them if they have some ideas. Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay, and I will have somebody there, and if I can't, I think I have y'all's phone numbers. So if I can't get somebody, I will let you know how we're gonna do it. But I hope to have somebody there waiting for you.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Sounds
Martinez.
You
good.
bet. All right,
Thank
y'all
you,
have a good
Dr.
evening.
Martinez. You
All
too.
right.
Bye
All
bye.
right, bye-bye. Okay. Are you with me?
Hi, Dr. Martinez.
Hi.
Sorry. I
That's okay.
tried to sign out and go to the breakout room, but there was no breakout room there, so I don't know what happened.
Oh,
So I kind of
no.
got lost. I'm
Well,
sorry
next
about
time ask me and I'll shoot you over there. I'll force it in.
that.
You know,
Okay,
like I can
because
send you
I
over.
messaged you, but I think you're
I probably
okay. Because I
wasn't.
already logged out. I messaged you on Canvas. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
didn't
figured
see it.
you were a little
Sorry.
busy.
I was probably in one of the other breakout
So right
rooms.
now, like I watched the video, the Kelly McDonald video. I did not reply to it yet. I did the LinkedIn, the introduction, the personal mission statement. I can do all those. I can get them all in. I
Okay.
just need a little bit of time because I'm still displaced.
That's fine.
But it might take one more week, I believe.
Okay, send me a message when you have that ready to turn in and I'll open it up for you.
Okay.
Just let me know. I'm, instead of me just opening up kind of randomly, just send
Okay.
me a message and I'll go in and open it just for you to upload it.
Thank you so much.
Listen,
for
just
the
let me know because
little-
I can't help you if I don't know what's going on, So
Oh,
just let
I'm
me
not
know.
afraid to ask for help. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not afraid to ask for help. I always do. Whenever I need something, like if I'm not gonna ask for help, how am I gonna get it done, right?
That's right.
So
That's right.
I
And
do.
all of us care
So
about you. We want you to be successful. You're in the best department you could
thank you.
possibly
I really
be in.
appreciate that.
So
Thank
I
you.
don't know of a
Thank you.
single professor that wouldn't, back you up.
Mm.
So, just let us know.
Okay. And so just for the introduction with pictures and the personal mission statement, do I have to have them open to be able to read what I need to do, or just to submit the assignments?
I'm not sure I understand, but for like what you got for the personal mission statement, it's a form.
Oh, it's a
And
form.
it's a form on Canvas. And you have to answer all the questions in it. It's like, I don't know, 7 or 8 pages, but it asks you like what your values are, what, like, are you like a dad? Are you like a brother? Are you like it's got all these different things that
I took a look at it.
yeah. And if you have any questions, just let me know. But you
Okay.
just answer
Okay,
all the
so they can-
questions, and ultimately at the end, you use all those answers to create your statement.
Okay, great. Sounds
Okay.
good. I appreciate you working with me, and hopefully either later this week or next week, I'll schedule a time where we can meet.
That'd be fine. Just let me know.
All right, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.